With me in the studios in Delhi is Anjali Bhardwaj, member of the NCPRI. Vineet Narayan, senior journalist, has strong views against the part 3 of this fast. Shazia Ilmi, member of Team Anna. Thank you. My first question is to Mayank. Are you overdoing it a bit? As in, is there a fast fatigue? A fatigue factor for the masses with yet another fast? How effective can it be?
I think you are underestimating the resolve of the people. We need the Jan Lokpal bill and the people are completely in support of that. You saw that between April and August,
yes,
there was a 10-fold increase. And looking at sensing the kind of mood of the people, there is a deep, strong resolve. If it does not come in the winter session, I am sure the public support will be much bigger than it was even in August.
No, but do you think, Shazia, that you could end up losing public support by constantly issuing threats and ultimatums to the government? Are you creating an atmosphere of confrontation?
Not at all. This is a reminder from Anna that a strong Lokpal bill is really the order of the day, and it's every civil society group and individual has right to exert pressure for advocacy and mobilization. This is in keeping with that. Anna Hazare is simply reminding that in case the bill is not introduced and passed in the winter session, he will go on fast. There is no threat in it. It's
no,
pressure.
but at the same time, was there a little bit of a climb down, Shazia? Because, you know, Anna Hazare in his latest letters also said that in a proposed campaign in the 5 poll-bound states, Team Anna will not canvass against the Congress party, unlike the way it did in the Hisar elections last month. So is this a climb down from the anti-Congress position?
No, see, it can't remain an ego tussle or a eyeball-to-eyeball match from the beginning to the end. If this kind of leeway and space is being created, and Anna is, and let me tell you, Anna is not ceding when he says that, because fast when he talks about going on fast, it's actually the best kind of pressure that can be exerted, because it was only after his first fast that the committee was notified. It was only after the second fast at Ram Leela that the spirit of the House resolution was passed. So fast is actually the biggest pressure, if you can want to call it a technique or a way to keep reminding the government of what it has to do. I think it's valid and legitimate. I don't think it's a climb down at all.
Okay, legitimate. There are 2 questions there for Anjali I want to put to you. One is that this is a legitimate pressure tactic. If you want, you too and your entire group and your colleagues too can issue any pressure tactic. Second, do you feel the repositioning of the Anna campaign on the Congress issue is commendable and will settle the debate over, you know, their having political leanings?
Well, I do believe that everybody in a democracy has a right to protest as long as it's non-violent, and therefore I don't think there is any question of legitimacy when we talk about people thinking that they would like to go on a fast or would like to protest in any other way, as long as like I said, it is non-violent. Certainly we have done sit-ins, we've supported people who fasted. That's not a problem. I think in a democracy everybody has a right to protest. We might not agree with a certain demand, that is different, but the right to protest certainly everybody has. I think there is really no question that people are extremely fed up of corruption, that they want a very strong anti-corruption institutional framework to be brought in through a legislation. I think the issue still remains, however, which is something we've even seen in the letter that has gone to the Prime Minister from Anna today, that the demand remains that a Jan Lokpal bill,
yes,
the Jan Lokpal bill be brought in. And I think that there have been differences of opinion, there have been different positions that different groups have taken, and we continue to have those differences. We at the NCPRI do believe that having a very centralized institution, an institution where responsibility and power is centralized, is not going to achieve the objective of anti-corruption, and that we continue to have differences over. But a fast as a legitimate means of protest, that's absolutely fine.
Here's the argument, Vineet Narayan. The argument they're going to open up to debate after this. Mayank, I know you want to come in to respond to what Anjali said here. Question is, Vineet Narayan, you need Hawkeye vigil. Team Anna says you need Hawkeye vigil. We are providing Hawkeye vigil so that the government does not lose track of its own promise.
Well, that's okay if they want to continue to exert pressure. But what I personally feel, and what many of the people feel in the country, that there is a lack of roadmap, leadership, and proper understanding of issues. You see the Hisar episode, for example. They were so vehemently coming against Congress, and now suddenly there's a complete somersault. And what Anna has said today is the legitimate thing. Jayaprakash Narayan had said it in 1977. Since then, people have been saying that we will go and campaign for the Sadachari candidate, Adarsh candidate. Even I have campaigned for people who were non-political. It's a different matter, such people always lose, and political dynamics and dynamics of election is very different. But the thing is that we as activists cannot take sides with one political party or the other.
So they're not.
So the act in Hisar was a very immature act. It gave a very wrong signal to the country, and somehow one feels that their repeated statements are there only to remain in limelight because they don't probably have a proper agenda for future. So they go on harping on Jan Lok Pal, irrespective of the fact that there are many groups who have different opinion, different experience, and these people are not willing to listen. They think what we are saying might is right.
No, are you not skeptical? The question is, Vineet Narayan, one point here is, they say they are skeptical of the government's commitment. You're not skeptical of the government's commitment. Is it just about that one? No, Vineet.
Arnab,
okay.
Arnab, I've said that on your show many times before. It's not just Congress or government. Political class per se is not very serious about eradicating corruption.
So that's why
I think we have to have very clear understanding that politicians as a class, they have their own compulsion. There are electoral pressures, there are corporate interests involved. There's so many other things. It's not just you brand politicians as the sole person responsible.
Arnab, let's understand what happened.
So if you bring this kind of Jan Lok Pal bill and you think you will eradicate corruption, I think it's an utopian.
That's nobody's case that we will eradicate corruption by bringing Jan Lok Pal. There is a slew of measures that need to be taken.
That was said, Mayank, in the beginning.
No, there are a slew of measures. One of the first steps is Jan Lok Pal. Anyway, let's not get into that, but let's try and understand that from April, unless a pressure, and we did put pressure, and there was a joint committee, and the minute we released pressure, look at the kind of Sarkari Lokpal bill that they brought in. So there is a lesson to be learned. The minute you relax pressure from the government, they are going to start putting a bill or a law which is going to be extremely weak. So we have to constantly up the ante till the Jan Lok Pal bill is passed.
But in the process of upping the ante, Shazia, are you using brute force to sideline other activists? Like Anjali Bhardwaj, for example. Like Aruna Roy, for example. Who may not have your crowd gathering ability. You're insisting on the Jan Lok Pal. What would you say to Anjali Bhardwaj? Has she lost her legitimate right? Because she can't gather the crowds that you do.
Not at all. No, absolutely. And I hope standing committee will discuss all the bills that have been put forward, and I believe they don't have a bill like the draft like the Jan Lok Pal bill is. If there's a choice between the two bills, and it is a matter of two bills which has really...
No, will there be crowds this time?
Momentum as it has.
Do you believe this time you'll be able to get the kind of crowds that you did the last time?
An important provision of Jan Lok Pal bill is Citizen Charter, and I think people are concerned about the corruption they face day after day, whether it's the ration cards or the BPL cards or the Nirega schemes. Also, as long as people are concerned with corruption, and then as long as it's crippling them and bothering them, there will be crowds. So it's less to do with Anna Hazare and the fast and all that it's about corruption. It's about a strong law in place. It's also about checking political corruption. It's also about having an independent CBI.
No, but
it's also about independent SIT, all the investigative agencies. So these are the things that we should be talking about.
The question is that last time Mayank addressed a crowd at Juhu Beach, there was no place to stand at Juhu Beach.
250,000 people.
250,000 people turned up. But question is, since then, your organization has been seen to be a little divided. There have been some issues which have been brought up against individuals, issues of probity. There has been a sort of anti-Congress angle to the campaign. So a lot of people would feel that what was drawing us to this campaign was the pure anti-political character of the campaign. Apolitical character of the campaign, and that's been lost somewhere. Aren't you concerned about it?
No, there is a concern but
will you have the same momentum this time?
That's what I need to answer.
Yes.
Between April, again I remind you of that, There was the Shanti Bhushan CD, the Prashant Bhushan, allegations on Anna being corrupt from bottom to top. At that some point we felt
Absolutely.
that the people's support has gone and that there is this antipathy against the movement.